Hi everyone, welcome to another video in the Learning to Teach a Language series in that playlist. This one dealing with how to write what are known as SMART learning outcomes. Students who are becoming teachers often struggle with this. It's not easy, but I've broken it down and hopefully have made it more approachable. Okay. So basically, when writing your learning outcome, you're going to start with this kind of a stem or this kind of a beginning. By the end of this session, comma, learners will be able to. Now here you'll insert your action verb. We'll take a look at those and what they are specifically in just a second. The action verb will relate to the level of Bloom's taxonomy that is appropriate for the goal, what you're after. And with the verb, you'll need a direct object. I'll show you in a second. And then on, in, of, again, making it measurable in terms of SMART. So this is, we need to make it specific. We need to make the outcome measurable and attainable. And so making it measurable is related to our action verb, and making it more specific, say time bound or quantity bound. Here we'll use a number or how much. In, about, for, in order to, and then here's our specific assignment, subject area, learning context. So this is a sort of template that you can use for writing your outcomes. You just use the words provided and then you plug in the information that you need to. Let's review those action verbs. And remember, you'll have to first choose the level of taxonomy according to Bloom's theory, and we have 6. In the lower order, we have remembering, then understanding, applying, analyzing, also known as integrating, evaluating, and creating. And here you see a nice handy list of all kinds of words that can be used for each level. The one word you do not see here is understand. Why? Because we can't measure that. That's not demonstrable. It's not something students or learners can demonstrate. So again, refer to this handy list when choosing your action verb. Let's look at some examples. Okay. By the end of this session, learners will be able to recognize what? The definitions of 6 different vocabulary words about public transport. By the end of this session, learners will be able to recognize the definitions of 6 different vocabulary words about public transport. Let's go back to the template. Recognize vocabulary words. How many? 6. In what context? About public transport. Okay. And let's just look at the Bloom level. What is recognize? Where does that, So that falls under remembering, one of the lower order skills. Remember, as a teacher, it's important to mix it up. Give your learners some lower order tasks as well as some higher order tasks to make sure they're being stimulated and that their brains are turned on. Another example. By the end of this session, learners will be able to describe methods for solving equations in 3 specific rules for other students of beginner algebra. Okay. Describe equations. How many? In 3 specific rules. And in order to, why? To help other learners of beginner algebra. Let's look at it again. Okay, so we've got our action verb. And where does that fall in the taxonomy? Describe. Ooh, that's a pretty high order skill now, isn't it? It falls under evaluating and What are they describing? Methods for solving equations. How many? 3 of them. And for whom? For what context? For other students of that maths course. Let's look at another example. By the end of this session, learners will be able to paraphrase an external source on second language acquisition in 7 to 10 sentences for the annotated bibliography of their research paper. Let's look back. They'll be able to paraphrase. Where's that? Aha, it's in understanding. Okay, paraphrase. Paraphrase what? Oh, an external source, right? That they're writing for their research paper. How much should the paraphrase be? Well, we said 7 to 10 sentences. And in what context? For the annotated bibliography of their research paper. Okay, let's look at one more. Ooh, I'm sorry, it's a bit blurry. This is taken from a student's own outcome design, and we need to improve on these learning outcomes. Okay, by the end of this lesson, the pupil, the learners, will be able to understand the main articles in a news broadcast. Well, as we said, understand is not something we can measure, and it's not one of the action verbs that is best to choose from. So let's choose a different one. What do we actually want the students to demonstrate or do? Well, and how, can we measure that? We want them to, let's say, instead of understand, something like summarize, perhaps tell or write, right? Explain. And so here, explain. These fall into the higher order skills. Learners will be able to describe, explain the main articles. Well, how many are we talking about? And in what context? Let's say 2 main articles in a 5-minute news broadcast. Again, we need to give it a number and make it more specific. Here's another one. By the end of this lesson, the pupil will be able to recognize, that's nice, that falls in our taxonomy we noticed before under remember. Recognize what? Oh, the words in the vocabulary list in a text or news broadcast. Well, how many words are we talking about? 150? 2? We need a specific number there. How many words? And in the vocabulary list, in a text or news, in a news broadcast or text about what, right? What's the topic? What's the subject area? Okay, now you try it. I hope that this template has helped to make it a bit clearer how you can approach writing smart learning outcomes. Thanks for watching.